there, sweet friends. It's Cynthia Nessel at Create with Cynthia, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video, I'm working on this dresser that I found on the side of the road. I'm using Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint and Iron Orchid designs. Stay tuned while I show you how I created this beauty.
I'm also going to share a story about my gratitude to people that give me their junk. One day, as I was driving the boys to school, I noticed this dresser on the side of the road, and there was a sign on the dresser that said free.
This dresser is being repainted. I had painted it maybe a year ago using Dixie Belle paint products, and I painted it in like a greenish color with some transfer paper on the bottom, and it never sold. And so I decided to do a new makeover on it in hopes that I could sell it.
In the year 2016, I found myself at a crossroads. My marriage was ending, and I knew I was going to need to furnish a new home for the boys and myself. And this is when I started picking up furniture that I would see on the side of the road.
Painted it using Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint in the color crinoline. I gave it 2 coats, and then I put Big Top on the top of the drawers here, just the front of them. And now I'm going to adhere a Iron Orchid Design Decor transfer. And I'm going to show you how to adhere Iron Orchid Design Decor transfers to dressers like this. It makes them look unique and one of a kind, and people are always looking for that with furniture. So,
Sometimes, when I would find a piece of furniture on the side of the road, I would repurpose it and sell it. But sometimes it ended up staying in my home.
the decor transfers you can purchase on my website at createwithcynthiashop.com. The first thing you want to make sure when you're adhering it to furniture, you want to make sure that it's a sealed surface. If you try and adhere it directly to paint, it's not going to adhere as well. So the transfers come in tubes like this. You just open them up. They have a little stick inside them, which is the scraping stick. And they also come with grid lines on them so that you can cut them to customize however you want to put them on the dresser. So when I think about adhering a transfer to a dresser, I usually try and look at it and determine like the best placement just by visualizing it first. I want the bottom of the transfer. I might cut off some of these stems, but I kind of want it to hit around down here. Okay, with this transfer, you see how the wording, there's that flower wording? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those words out of the transfer. So you just take any kind of scissors. I've got these nice sharp scissors. And I'm going to leave the backing. The transfer comes with the backing. I'm going to leave the backing on it. And I'm going to cut it around the flower. I don't need to use the grid lines, I just need to cut around the flowers. I just want this wording to be cut out. Transfers are easier to work with on a flat surface, and if you don't have a flat surface, then it's easiest to work with them in pieces. And what's fun about Iron Orchid Design Decor transfers is you can also cut them up into pieces and use them on multiple projects. The hardware on this dresser was a little wonky. I couldn't get the top ones off, so I painted over them. Now I use my frog tape, handy dandy frog tape, to hold the transfer into place. And that is my first step. in the process. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is taping it on there. And then I'll cut around it to try and adhere it. And I'm not going to do it yet, because I want to see what's going on here with this. So as you can see, I'm just trying to figure out where to place the Decor transfer. And I think that what would be best is to cut this into pieces and adhere it in pieces. If it was a flat surface, it would be really pretty to just adhere it directly on here, but it's not a flat surface. There's a lot of creep, and it's just going to be too hard to not cut it into pieces. So I'm going to cut it into pieces, and then I'm going to frog tape it on here, and then I'll start scraping.
Dropping the boys at school, I circled back to go check out the dresser. After inspection, I was thrilled that the dresser and all its parts were in good condition. The next step was to get it in my little Prius, and that's where I ran into a problem.
That's what's nice about cutting the Decor transfer into pieces. The placing it on your surface makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now I take my handy dandy scraper and I start at the top and I just scrape.
As I was about to get back into the car, this very nice man came out of his house and said to me, "Do you like the dresser? Are you going to take it?" And I replied, "I'd love to, but it won't fit in my car. I'll need to come back later with my van." The sweet man said, "Let's move it up here to the side of the house so that no one else will take it." I was so grateful to this sweet man because he could tell I was frustrated by not being able to fit the dresser into my car, and that I was concerned that it wouldn't be here when I came back, and he was willing to help me out.
So when you're working with the Decor transfers, it's really nice to be able to take a peek at what's going on. If you see some transfer that you missed, you can easily just bring the transfer back up and scratch it on. The transfers that you're not going to use, I decided to take the wording off. As soon as you cut them and decide you're not sure you're going to use them or not, I roll them up right away. Keep them on their backing and roll them up. I just do that. And then I take a little piece of frog tape, like this. And just seal them like that. And then stick them in here. You'll want to use them later. And if you let them flown around in spots all over the house, they're going to get not usable, okay? So whatever you don't use, when you're going to cut the transfers out, make sure you roll them up and you put them with some frog tape back in the tube. Now, one thing I'm going to just recommend is, if at all possible, don't try and adhere the transfer to the surface when it's upright. Lay it down on its back. It's so much easier. Okay, that's where it's going to go. I didn't necessarily know if I wanted it to go there, but it's stuck. And I don't want to move it now because I could pull the transfer off and rip it. So I'm just going to put my frog tape on. So I'm starting in the middle, right here. See, there's a little bubble right here. You can kind of try Try and ride the bubble. As I mentioned before, you want to make sure that your surface is sealed before you adhere the transfer. You could seal it with Big Top. It's a clear top coat, which is what I did, but you could also seal it with a wax. DIY paint makes a wax. So you could put the sealer on or the wax on first, then you want to put your transfer on, and then you want to put another coat of a top coat or a wax. So you don't have to put a lot of pressure. It's just more of the multiple swipes. I'm kind of pushing hard because I feel rushed, like I want to get this done. But you don't have to. You really don't need to. It's mostly just, it's not hard pressure, it's just constant scraping. Ah! That's why you want to have a lot of tape.
If you look around my home, what you'll find is furniture pieces that were rescued and restored. Most of these pieces were found on the side of the road, in garbage dumpsters, or on Facebook Marketplace for free.
Now, I have adhered my transfer on the surface completely, and I like the design, so I'm happy with the way it looks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a soft cloth and I'm going to burnish the transfer. And really what this means is that you're just making sure that there are no air bubbles between the surface and the transfer, because once I've completed burnishing all of it, then I'm going to seal it, and I'm going to use DIY Paint Big Top to seal the whole dresser. I've taken my Big Top out of my jar and poured it into this handy dandy little craft cup. And I'm using just a chip brush from the dollar store because I don't like to use my good paint brushes for my top coats and my waxes. I'll probably put 2 to 3 coats of the Big Top coat onto the dresser because I know it's going to get a lot of use and wear, and I want to make sure that I've got a great protective seal over it. So 2 to 3 coats is suggested. And I'm going to seal the whole piece of furniture, put the hardware back on, and then my project is complete. My channel and you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate if you would do so. You can also hit the notifications button, and then you'll be reminded when I upload new videos. I like to upload videos on DIY home decor projects as well as vintage furniture makeover. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video.
Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Create with Cynthia. Iron Orchid Designs and Debbie's Design Diary DIY paint products can be purchased online at createwithcynthiashop.com.